do it officially. Collectors Oracle was a spin-off of rebelscum.com in an effort to create a digital checklist for all of Star Wars collecting. Now, recently, it started to morph and to turn into something else, which is we are now partnered with Playmates. So eventually we will have every Ninja Turtle that's ever been made on collectorsoracle.com.
Thanks for showing up, Bobby.
Thank you for having me.
So,
There should be
I'm Joshua. That's Bobby. You guys know him. But this is the brains of the operation right here. This is Mr. Aaron Adamsen.
Hello.
He's
Thanks for
our
coming.
head of the Chief Advisory Board. I'm trying to give him the most official title ever. Maybe he'll love me a little bit more.
I just sit in the corner. That's all.
That's not all.
That's not true.
That's not all you did. You helped here. You helped get Collectors Oracle going. So have we actually said what Collectors Oracle is yet?
If you were on time, you would have known.
Oh, sorry. I had people asking me for stuff. Did you?
Yes. So Aaron actually is the one that put together the entire Playmates deal. That was his brainchild. He made sure that the deal went through. He's been making sure that we have the proper assets from Playmates and has a direct link with Playmates to liaise for that situation. So,
it's kind of funny actually how that deal came together, because it started with Star Wars. It started as a way to continue and kind of update the rebelscum.com photo archive, which is a question we've gotten a lot since we've taken over, because it actually hasn't really been updated very much. And it still hasn't because due to the nature of the coding of the website, it's very difficult to update and add stuff into it. It's actually very tedious, and just making the daily articles or video posts that we do on the main website actually takes a lot more effort than you might think.
And to that point, basically what we have to do is every photo that you find on rebelscum.com, there has to be a converter which gives it a web address, and then we have to code the web address into the back end. If you were in the Welcome to Rebel Scum panel, you heard, like, we started in '96.
Mm-hmm.
And the platform that rebelscum.com was built on and is still on right now was built from scratch by the founder.
Philip Weiss.
So what we're doing right now with Collectors Oracle is we're alleviating some of the stress off of the, not a lot of it, but some of the stress off of the photo archive for rebelscum.com in an effort to bring it up to date in a quicker fashion.
Right.
So as of, it should have been this weekend. I haven't talked to the web developer yet, but the Star Wars side will be completely up to date by Monday or Tuesday on Collectors Oracle.
In terms of Black Series 6-inch scale and the Vintage Collection 3 3/4 scale, we are still trickling over lots of different toy lines already archived on Rebel Scum to Collectors Oracle. Now, some of you may hear that and think, oh, that means they're not going to be updating rebelscum.com's photo archive, which is not the case. We still plan on
It's
updating
actually the
that too.
complete opposite of the case. What we're doing is we're moving the entire website sooner rather than later onto a brand new server and bringing everything up to date, at which point we already have all of the content from Collectors Oracle to transfer back to the main website.
And
So
re-update it.
both things will be operating simultaneously.
So Collectors Oracle will be your web app tool, and is your web app tool for you to monitor and track your collection with what's currently available on there, which just now included Playmates. It's now expanded into other brands and other fandoms. And like I was saying, it's funny how that kind of came about, because we started this with Star Wars, like I was saying earlier, and we wanted to approach other brands within Star Wars to just make this big mega collecting, add to your own collection like you can on your phone, fact, I can pull it up right here. Here is collectorsoracle.com on my device. For those of you watching at home, I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to zoom in a little bit. But now it says Star Wars and TMNT. And it's going to say more than that very, very soon. And part of that's just because some of these toy companies don't really have everything archived for themselves.
We were on hold, waiting for the Playmates Turtles stuff to get on board. Several companies were waiting for us to see how that came about.
Sorry about the mic stuff. We're only doing this because everything's being recorded. So, long story short, when we onboarded or started the onboarding process of Ninja Turtles, several other companies, including Super 7 and McFarlane Toys and a couple other brands, in addition to other brands that Hasbro themselves produce, we started getting approached, and they said, hey, we see what you're doing with the brand. We like what you're doing. How about this brand? How about that brand? And it's like, okay, one at a time. This was a passion project that we did, honestly, while we started building towards this convention. And let's just say after SDCC this year, you're going to see at least a couple other brands on there. It could be stuff like G.I. Joe's. It could be any of the Super 7 line. It could be Reaction. It could be any of that stuff. So those are all deals that we're currently working on that could be coming in the very near future. To that point, though, the next one that we're really focusing on, in addition to continue to grow the Star Wars content on collectorsoracle.com, is also all of the Ninja Turtle stuff. And then eventually, all of the Star Trek stuff that Playmates have done and everything else that Playmates has done. Because that was one big deal that got done, and we're just taking our time getting to it to make sure that it is done correctly with the proper information as they give it to us.
And eventually what you're going to be left with is this mega web app, essentially, where have we even mentioned that it's free yet? It's free, by the way. You just go to collectorsoracle.com. You can make a free account, and then you can start clicking any of the various buttons on those items you see in those various toy lines. You can click Have. You can get specific with it. Say you've got a graded VC Django Fett. The Phase 1 Django is a very valuable piece, and if you have it in your collection and you're the type of collector that likes to absolutely preserve and encapsulate that value, encapsulate that condition, how do you mark that on a web app that you don't upload photos to? Because you don't upload photos of your own collection. The photos are already there, and you know exactly what character you're looking at. It matches the figure you should have at home. So what we did was we built in specific descriptors for each one. So not only can you have multiples of, say, the same item on collectorsoracle.com within your own profile as a collector, but you can also label each one, and each one has its own category of boxes. So you can even get as far as like where you bought it, just in case you care about that kind of thing. You can mark if it's graded. You can mark what grade it is. You can put in who you got it graded by if you want. And on the pre-order side of it, if you have figures coming that you've pre-ordered through Hasbro Pulse or Target, Amazon, or the like, you can, in those boxes on the pre-order button for any of those items, click where you pre-ordered it from. You can put in your order number, because sometimes you don't want to make an account with one of these companies and you still get an order number. So there's a space there for you to type that out in case you find it somewhere, you forget, and, oh, shoot, where did I pre-order that from? Or did I pre-order that? Well, if you have that order number in your Collector's Oracle, just go search it, and then
Bobby's
you're good.
he's beating around the bush. Let's be honest. A lot of collectors nowadays will pre-order from several different stores or several different outlets and see which one comes in first, who gets the best condition, and there's information that you need if you're going to be doing any type of return. You need your order number. I need to know. We don't take any card information, but you can put in your own code. You can put in the blue Visa card or whatever you want. You write out your own description. That is not information that we keep. There's no card number, no nothing.
Yep.
So you can say, I ordered on this date this item from Entertainment Earth on this card with this order number. Or you can do the same thing with Big Bad Toy Store, and you can list all of that. And it's saved until you receive your items and you decide which one you want to keep. You move that one to your halves list under your profile, and then you do whatever you want with the rest of them. And if that's a return because Amazon sent it to you in a bubble mailer and it's a VC figure, we get it. This is a collectible convention. We're about condition.
And maybe it's an item while you're in there organizing. Maybe it's an item that you see that you haven't been able to find, but it's not something you can pre-order anymore either. So there's also a want button, which breaks down into what we call your want list. And that's a really cool thing you can do where on your collector profile, you can also isolate which lists of your collection you're looking at. You can look at the whole thing. You can look at what you just have, what you just want, what you've pre-ordered, or what you're selling/trading. Now, you won't be doing any selling or trading on the website, or at least not anytime soon. I don't know if we have plans on building any kind of selling or trading into the website, but you can share that list or any of those lists with friends, family, and social media alike. There's a share option, and it'll share specifically your wants or your haves or whichever one you're looking at. So when the wife or significant other or family member or mom or dad or whoever.
When somebody says, what's on your Christmas list?
Yeah, and you're
Share.
like, I don't know. Because we all give the same answer because we're all making our own pre-orders and we're all hunting for our own figures. And while we don't want to burden our families with a bunch of characters that they probably don't know the names of or know what to look for because we've all been there. That's what the want list is for. You can go, here you go. Send it.
To that point, that's not the only thing that's there for.
Yeah.
This is a real, true fact. 100% of the time in beta that somebody shared their want list on social media, specifically Meta, those items were filled within 48 hours.
By various other social media users who just saw the post and said, oh, I've got that. Oh, no, I've got that.
Or I
I've
have
got
an
a
extra
couple
one of
these.
those on my trade list. And at some point, very soon, hopefully this takes off the way that we want it to, you'll see, here's my trade list on social media, here's my want list. And then people will switch those back and forth, and that'll be that. And it makes aftermarket trading, buying, all that super simple. And we don't want to get involved in the money transfer part of things. That's why there's not a selling aspect to this yet. But we are going to be very heavily involved in the social media side of things where we can share those lists to pretty much any platform.
And functionality-wise, for ease of use, we thought about developing it as an app at first, but what we ultimately went with so that we don't have to worry about different operating systems as much, because working with website platforms is a little bit easier than apps in that regard. We developed it to be a quote-unquote web app, which is a website that functions very much like an app, but is just an actual website.
And we do have a cell phone mode. We have a tablet mode or landscape mode. Full, what do they call it? The full web version, I guess is what you would call it. So you can do it on your desktop, or if you're walking into a local toy store and you say, "Did I pick that up last week? I don't remember if I ended up pulling the trigger." You pull up your list. No, it's still on the want list. You go and you check out. You put it on your have list while you're there. You're all good.
Good to go. And like I said, super simple, super easy to use, and oh yeah, it's also free.
Does anybody have any questions?
Or
Does it include ships and creatures?
yes, it does.
Yeah, so far, as of Monday, VC will be totally complete. We even have some stuff that's still on pipeline pipeline reveals that are listed currently without their VC number because we don't know what they are yet. But it is all sorted. If you guys want to go to the website, obviously not while we're sitting right here, but if anybody has any questions, find me or Bobby. We'll show you how to use the app. It is way easier than it seems. You click on, when you go to the app right now, it's going to say, would you like to see Ninja Turtles or would you like to see Star Wars? You click on Star Wars. It's going to say, what scale would you like to see? 6-inch, 3 3/4 inch. Oh, well, let's see the 3 3/4 inch. Then it's going to be a breakdown, and these are literally just buttons, one-touch buttons. It'll be a breakdown of which series it is. At that point, it'll say, let's see VC. Okay, play sets, action figures, deluxe figures, vehicles, any of that. It's all on there.
With Turtles being as extensive of a toy line, we just started with Mutant Mayhem. So Turtles roughly has about 40 to 50 individual units on there. And there's hundreds and hundreds to come.
Sir, there's thousands of turtles coming.
That's true. That's true. But we're going to work backwards with Turtles.
The same way we did with Star Wars. We started with the stuff that was missing on rebelscum.com. That's where this came from, like I mentioned. And we were trying to fill in the photo archive so that there was some place you could get that information readily available. And then we worked our way backwards, and that was that. Now we have, I think we're back to 2006 now. And as soon as we're past this convention, which has taken the entire team's time, we will be going completely backwards. The one thing that I probably will do is, because this is the number one question we get, is vintage ever going to be on there? Because Andy asks me all the time, is vintage ever going to be on there? Yes and no. It'll say, would you like to see Ninja Turtles? Would you like to see Star Wars? And then there'll be a third button, would you like to see vintage Star Wars? So we want to keep everything pre-95 separate, just because there's such a severe interest in the different variants, the different grading opportunities. The difference between a graded and a loose item it's just not the same as a modern piece. A modern piece is, oh, I have this VC figure, I have this Black Series figure. Well, I know that I'm an in-box collector, so I can assume it's in-box. Well, with vintage stuff, like my vintage, or more specifically, Bobby's vintage Darth Vader collection. Well, he has how many different card backs? He has how many different variants? You know, the long saber, the short saber, the DT, you know, all that good stuff. What's that?
I said, to be clear, I do not have a DT.
He has at least 6 DTs.
I do not. That would be amazing. I do not have a DT.
Opened.
Of course they're open.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, I don't have a DT. Well, but there's also actually we've talked about action figures and stuff. There's more than just action figures on there. There's even some role play items. So right now that started with the Black Series set of role play items, the 1-to-1 helmets and lightsabers and other weapons and things like that. But as we said earlier, with the update of the Rebel Scum archive feeding the Collector's Oracle archive for Star Wars in the long run, that means a lot of those other archived lines, collectibles, even some of the high-end ones like Master Replica, for example, or Gentle Giant Mini Bust, for example, will eventually also end up on Collector's Oracle as their own category. It'll probably, I'm thinking we'll probably do like statues and then busts as their own categories once you click on the Star Wars button.
One of the brands that we're getting ready to work with is going to be Gentle Giant. So that's somebody that we're already in communication with. That's somebody that is actually providing I'm not supposed to be saying this, but since there's not a ton of people in here, I'll spill the beans. We will have an exclusive for Rebel Scum Con 2 from Gentle Giant. It's already been done. The deal's already figured out. We're good to go. So part of that deal is they're going to be providing all of their information for all of their statues, the Gentle Giant Jumbo Kenners, all of that stuff is going on Oracle.
You know, the bottom line on this is, the sky's the limit. We're only limited by how fast we can get things out there. I mean, that's it. I mean, there is so many categories and lines that we can do that it could be a project that'll take years
This
to
could
finish.
be literally never ending.
Yeah. We got a question.
Look at this. Look at how pro this guy is.
Couple questions. One, is it going to be easy to search for like a specific character, like say Darth Vader, if you wanted to find
That's a
all the
great
different
question.
variations to see what you do and don't have? And then also, when you talk about what you own and have pre-order and what you are looking for, want list, is that going to be shared between users that you can go and see other users who may have something that you're looking for or something you're maybe looking to get rid of, and you can see who's looking for it type of thing?
That is a 100. That's probably the best question that we could possibly get about this.
Yeah.
The way that that's going to work is we do not want to make your information available to anybody. Everything is private. What you do with your information, that's where our sharing feature comes in. As far as being able to get on there and search and see exactly what's what, take just a minute, go to collectorsoracle.com, click on Star Wars, search for Darth Vader and see what comes up. Seriously.
And you'll actually get a bunch of options of pretty much anything actually labeled Darth Vader on there. Because one of the things, and this is part of why some of the process is a little bit of a crawl on the back end, one of the things we have to put in is
We have to search by
keywords.
hashtags.
Yeah. So we on the back end they're plugged in as hashtags, but really it's just so the system identifies them as key search words. So we basically had to, from scratch, build the internal search function of the website itself. So everything that's in there has a lot of keywords keyed to Darth Vader, for example. He has words like Darth Vader itself, or Darth, or just Vader.
Not just that, though. You can get on there and you can search Sith.
Yeah.
And every Sith that there's an action figure that has been put in so far will show up.
So-
you can search for Jedi. You can search. Where's Gino at?
Yep,
You
there
can
he is.
go
You
on
can
there
search
and
clone.
search. You can go on there and just type in clone.
Yeah. And it'll
And
give
that'll
up.
be that every clone that's in the system so far that's been keyworded will show up, and you'll be able to go on there and say, somehow I missed that one. I didn't get to pre-order that one. Or better yet, a lot of people that use Rebel Scum Archives, I forgot what that character's name is. I need to know his weapons. What accessories did he come with if I found him loose in the wild somewhere or in a bin somewhere? Well, that's all information that you're going to be able to find. And this is built because of Order 66, us trying to find that information. And the only place that we could find that information was rebelscum.com. And unfortunately, before we got the website, there was no photo archive being built. It was what was there, and that was it. So this is, yeah.
This is the continuation of that.
This is literally just the next evolution, trying to make it more interactive. How many people that are sitting in here have gone to rebelscum.com and printed off one of the checklists? Okay, you don't have to print it off anymore.
Yep.
That's what Collector's Oracle is.
It's a checklist in your pocket. You get to mark it all yourself, and I mean, we really went, I think, nuts on the customization of it and all of the different little details that you could put in, because all of us collect differently. I like to say there's no wrong way to collect. Some of us like to collect loose figures. Some of us only like to collect graded, like I said earlier. Some of us only collect just carded or just vintage, or maybe we collect a specific character and only that character. Regardless of what it is, you now have a tool that we think is
He's
easy
talking
to
about
use.
Thrawn. He collects all the Throns.
I do collect all the Throns.
And all the Rogers.
You now have a tool that's essentially easy to use, where you can go back and look and see what is there that I'm missing, or what's coming that I'm excited about, or, hey, what do you want for your birthday? Oh, gosh, I don't know. I'm looking for Star Wars toys. Well, can you get more specific? Sure, I'm looking for Boba Fett. I don't know who that is. Actually, that's a terrible example. I'm looking
Everybody knows
for
Boba.
Brock Starsher. I don't know who that is. That's a better example. Well, search Brock Starsher in Collector's Oracle, and you will pull up either the Vintage Collection single-carded release of Brock Starsher, which was released in a 3-pack, or you'll pull up the original release of Brock Starsher, which was released in the Black Series 3/3 scale Phase 1 card back, both of which are on collectorsoracle.com right now. And did you just search that? No? Oh, okay.
My phone's been going off there. Somebody needs me out there.
Oh, okay. And yeah, that's what Collector's Oracle is in a nutshell. It's a tool that we built to not only make our lives easier as collectors, but to hopefully make your lives easier as collectors and the lives of your friends and family as well.
It's very simple. We're just nerds that want to get information out, and we're doing it professionally. That's it. We're very lucky. Any other questions? Nope.
No? Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming to our Collector's Oracle panel. I'm Bobby Robertson. This is Aaron Adamsen, AAA, as we call him, and, of course, Joshua Durazzo. Thank you so much. We have some more awesome and exciting panels and events coming through across the entire weekend here at Rebel ScumCon 2024. What time is it right now? 2:30. Yeah, there we go. So stay tuned. There will be another panel in this room very shortly